Hi, I'm Sarah Phillips with Phillips Law, located right here in New Orleans, Louisiana, and this is Law in the Bayou, where we make the law clear, simple, and easy to understand. Yesterday, I was talking to a client about their car accident case and what types of damages we would be fighting for, and I realized I was throwing around a lot of terms like punitive and earning capacity. And I quickly realized this was making the client a little confused and I was getting ahead of myself. So I realized this and I took a step back and most importantly explained what I meant. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to create a video to discuss the different types of damages that we as personal injury attorneys look for on a daily basis, and most importantly, what this means for your case. So today we're going to take a step back and I'm going to answer your questions about damages, what they are, and how important they are to your case. All right, so first off, let's ask the question, what are damages? And so damages are simply the monetary compensation, the money awarded to someone who has suffered harm due to another person's negligence or wrongful actions. The goal is to make you whole again by addressing financial losses, the physical injuries, and emotional distress caused by the incident. Now, there are three main categories of damages. There's economic, non-economic, and punitive. So what we're going to do is we're going to break those three down. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one and also give you some examples. So first, let's talk about economic damages. Economic damages are the tangible, measurable costs directly related to your injury. These damages are usually easier to calculate because they have a clear dollar value. Some examples of economic damages include medical expenses. For instance, like the medical bills whenever you go to the doctor, your surgery, your hospital stays, your medication, your physical therapy. And that also includes your future medical needs whenever a doctor writes up, okay, it's going to cost this much in the future for it's going to cost this much in the future for this person to get well. So that's how we calculate that. It's also the bills, like the physical bills, but also like future medical bills. Second is lost wages and earning capacity. Usually this is documented from previous pay stubs or even tax paperwork. And this is compensation for income lost while you're recovering from your injuries, or for future earning capacity if you're unable to work at the same level. So for instance, let's say you're a construction worker and you broke your arm in a car accident, and you missed 3 months of work, losing $9,000 in wages. And we know it was $9,000 based on your past pay stubs. So we would get that money. And also if the injury prevents you from lifting heavy objects in the future, like you can't work to that same level, then we could potentially sue for the earning capacity. And then finally, the next one would be property damage. So for instance, your car, if you go and try to get your car repaired and they give you a bill for $15,000, we know, okay, that's a tangible $15,000, like that's a number that we can work with and that we can easily add. And then lastly, we'd like to kind of get all those out-of-pocket expenses. And these are the things that I like to say that people just kind of forget about, right? Like everybody thinks about the big medical bills. You think about, okay, I've lost my income at the job, and okay, this is the car repair bill that I have. But honestly, we want to get all of those expenses, and that includes the out-of-pocket stuff. This can be transportation, medical devices, kind of extra things. For instance, if you need to take an Uber because you're physically unable to drive to the doctor, or you don't have a car because it's currently getting repaired. Let's say I had a client who gave me $500 worth in Uber bills, and sure enough, like it's easy to show, okay, this person is taking an Uber to the doctor and back, to the doctor and back. You want to calculate all that. Let's say the hospital gave you an arm sling, but it's really uncomfortable, right? Like, because they cheap out. They don't want to give you the one with like the nice cushion around your neck. Come on, you're supposed to wear this for 3 months. That's not very comfortable. They give you like the cheap one. So you go to Amazon, you go to CVS, and you buy yourself a nice $50 one. Like all these little expenses you want to give to your attorney so they can calculate this. Anything that's real, tangible numbers, the attorneys love to get because it's easier to give those numbers to the insurance adjuster. All right, and now that we've talked about the economic damages, let's get into the second one, which is non-economic damage. So what is non-economic damage? Well, these are damages that compensate you for the intangible aspects or effects of your injury, such as emotional and psychological harm. These damages don't have a set monetary value and are usually harder to calculate, which is why you need an experienced attorney. An example of some types of non-economic damages are going to be your pain and suffering, which is compensation for the physical pain and discomfort caused by your injury. For instance, you suffered a spinal injury in a slip and fall accident that leaves you in constant pain. That's definitely going to impact your daily life. The second one is going to be that emotional distress. This is going to cover anxiety, depression, or other emotional issues stemming from that accident. For example, like maybe after a pedestrian accident, you develop PTSD and you struggle to feel safe whenever you're walking near traffic. That's going to impact your daily life. Which leads me to the third one, loss of enjoyment of life. If your injuries are preventing you from enjoying hobbies, sports, or activities that you once loved, you can be compensated for this loss. For example, we have a client who was a cyclist who loved competing in races and was no longer to ride competitively due to a permanent leg injury. That was really quite terrible. Finally, we're going to have loss of consortium, and this applies when your injuries affect your relationships, particularly with your spouse or your family. One time an injury left a client so severely injured that it really strained the relationship with their spouse, and we were able to claim that. But it's important to note that, as you can see, these types of damages, they don't really have a set value, right? Like they aren't black and white on paper. It's harder to determine the value, and so it's generally easier for the insurance adjuster to deny, and that's why it's important to have an attorney so we can properly value your claim. We have resources, we have experience to know what an insurance company is willing to pay out for pain and suffering, what they're willing to pay out for a loss of consortium claim, what they're willing to think about and give you money for that loss of enjoyment of life. And finally, let's talk about number 3, which is punitive damages. Punitive damages are awarded in cases of particularly reckless or intentional behavior. They're not meant to compensate you as the victim, but they're more meant to punish the wrongdoer and deter similar conduct. It's kind of like sending a message out to society, like, do not do this. So a great example of this would be a drunk driving accident where a driver with a history of DWIs causes a serious crash while they're intoxicated. The court may award punitive damages to send a message to that individual about the severity of their negligence. You might also see it in intentional harm cases, like if a business knowingly ignored safety regulations and this led to an injury. Punitive damages may be added to ensure they face consequences for their willful disregard for safety. Finally, it's great to know about these damages, but really what's important here, and that's hiring the right attorney. Understanding and proving damages can be complex, especially when insurance companies are constantly trying to minimize the payouts. At Phillips Law, we specialize in evaluating the full scope of your losses to ensure you're compensated for everything you deserve, both the tangible cost and the emotional toll. So for all three, the economic, non-economic, and punitive damages. For example, in a recent case, we just helped a client recover not just their immediate medical bills, but also their future physical therapy, and also got them some emotional trauma therapy for losing their independence, because unfortunately, they're not able to go out into society quite as much as they want anymore. If you've been injured in an accident in New Orleans, don't navigate this process alone. Let us help you understand your rights and recover the compensation you deserve. Call us today at 504-434-7000 or visit our website at nolacriminaldefense.com for a free consultation. We also have a great blog section on our website where we talk a lot about personal injury and answer any of your questions. So thank you so much for watching Law on the Bayou, where we make the law clear, simple, and accessible. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.